welcome back to Club Rhubarb After Hours podcast, where we chat about real life, real issues, and sometimes have a laugh along the way. I'm Georgia.
I'm Chelsea.
Francesca here.
I'm Lauren. I'm Kirsten.
Tonight's episode's a little bit different. We're going to be talking about domestic abuse and homelessness, which is a little bit heavy, but they're quite important topics to talk about. So before we get into it, it's just a quick content warning. This episode discusses domestic abuse and homelessness. If these topics are difficult for you, please take care while listening or skip this episode. Thanks.
Yes, we're going to try and keep things respectful and informative, but still keep our usual relaxed vibe.
And remember, if you or someone you know needs support, there are organisations out there that can help.
So, we have a couple of facts for you. You're going to shout at me because I'm take them.
Love a fact.
Absolutely love a fact. So, who's opening the first envelope? Who's reading the first fact?
In 2024, there was an increase of 157 homelessness applications taken by hosts, that is the Trafford Housing Teams, from 943 in 2022-2023 to 1,100 in 2023 to 2024. In Trafford, the number of households placed into temporary accommodations has more than doubled within 2019 and 2020 and 2023 to 2024.
So we focused in on Trafford. We have got facts about Great Manchester as well, but we focused in on Trafford because we are based in Trafford. That's the main local authority that our sister company Club Rhubarb work with. And host, for those that will not know, host is the Trafford Adoptions and Housing team. So, how do you feel about those numbers, that massive leap of, increase?
I mean, Trafford's not, well, it is a big area, but that amount of people, it's a lot, isn't it? It's a lot. It's a big jump as well.
I think you've got to think about how those host officers are then dealing with these amounts. And yeah, I get that, obviously, our sister company deal with a lot of people that are frustrated with the system. They're frustrated with, how long it takes for them to get anywhere, how long they've sat in hotels. But hey, you've been put in temporary accommodation, you've been put in emergency accommodation, that's great. Look at whom they can't help. Look how many caseloads they've got and how hard that must be to go into work every day and deal with that.
Especially if you know the number isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Because people at host might feel some sort of frustration of, I'm trying the best that I can from my point, but it's not going very far, and then I have people who are angry at me when I'm trying to do the best that I can with the resources that I have.
Yeah. And they're limited resources, because Wild Trafford's a big place. We've got limited resources where you can put people.
It all falls on the government, I say. It's not host's fault, it's not the people who are homeless' fault, it's the government for not making those things more accessible. And I have I've got such a qualm with Airbnbs. If Airbnb didn't exist, imagine how many houses would be free for people. The government needs to put a ban on that so that more houses are available.
It's just that the government haven't built more houses, they've just sold off the stock.
Or they go, we are going to build houses and we are going to make some of them accessible for social housing, and then the percentage of that they do make available is so small that everyone's fighting for it, and then the affordable housing is only affordable for people who are in a high tax bracket.
What's
affordable about £2,000 a month? Nothing.
And those are comparable, those are social housing.
Yeah.
So that's comparable with your private rents at the moment.
Yeah.
So who's got the next fact on homelessness?
The annual Support in Safe Accommodation produced by Manchester City Council has been submitted and reported that 856 referrals to safe accommodation in 2024 to 2025 has had an increase of 52% in the last 2 years. 73 victims and survivors are residing in safe accommodation as of the 31st of March 2025.
I think we could safely assume that it probably is, yeah.
Yeah. And 219 victims and survivors supported through sanctuary schemes in 2024 to 25 to date. What are sanctuary schemes?
I'm sure sanctuary schemes are where they'll target hardened thing.
What does that mean?
So I think they try and keep the people in their own homes, and they bring in these things called sanctuary schemes. So they'll put bars on the window, put locks on the windows, screw in your letterbox. It's about removing the perpetrator. So Greater Manchester had this big thing about removing the perpetrator rather than the survivor, the victim of domestic abuse. Particularly if she had children.
We can see how that would work.
Yeah, and there's big ifs and buts about it because, well, if she's still in an area where he is known, he knows where she is, he knows where their children go to school, he knows their family. Sometimes it is just safer to leave an area. Yes, you are leaving everything behind. But it's kind of, it weighs itself up, like...
I guess that's all like circumstantial for each individual, like what would work.
So I think if I'm right, and we'll look it up, but I think these sanctuary schemes are really useful in coming in and target hardening that property to make it difficult for a perpetrator to attack.
I guess like a low level situation.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, even if they move the victim, the PEP still finds a way to find the victim.
It's kind of like a motivation, isn't it? Like, oh, they're not here now, so where are they? Let me find them.
Like we witness this in our day jobs
Yeah.
a lot of the time, and with new people to Scotland before now, because it's how to make it difficult for them. It's pretty.
Next fact. Sorry.
Moving on to the next one.
It is scary.
UK has been experiencing a cost of living crisis since late 2021 and has had a huge impact on the affordability of housing, energy and living costs. This is compounded in Trafford, where property prices and rents were already amongst the highest in the northwest.
Yeah.
Cost of living.
People move into Trafford and they do not want to then move out to Trafford because of the school systems, because of everything else.
It's a very good borough of Manchester, I would say.
But it's a leafy suburb. That's what it is. That's the definition of it, and that's all it always has been like that. It's just now nearly 2.5 grand in rent. Social housing isn't that far behind.
No, my rent is a lot.
And you got that because
mine's a housing association.
Yeah, association.
And mine was through.
And you got that because you were working.
Yeah.
So, there's also schemes for people that are working, and they're favouring people that are working to not. Oh. I mean, what do you think about it? Like, 'cause you don't live in Trafford.
No. I think it's almost the same everywhere, to be honest.
It's become compatible.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's frustrating. It shouldn't be, but it is.
Your home is like, if you don't have a stable home, you don't have that. There's so many branches that come off that, isn't it? Like,
Your home to your safe space.
yeah, and you need to have like a stable environment for every other aspect of your life.
It's basically the foundation.
Yeah.
Everything. You don't have a roof above your head. Nothing else falls in place.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Have you got our last fact, Chelsea?
maybe. So, it's quite a long one, Bevan.
Okay.
So,
We'll sounds in guys.
challenges led by the asylum system in the UK has had a profound impact on homelessness across the country. In 2022, the annual number of asylum applications to the UK reached the highest level since 2002, which is crazy. These combined challenges have had a detrimental impact on the levels of homelessness in all areas of the country. In Greater Manchester, after 4 years of reductions, the number of rough sleepers increased for the second year running in 2023/2024. In Trafford, the number of households being placed into emergency accommodation increased 146% between 2022 and 2023 and 2023 and 2024. This is compounded by the insufficient supply of affordable housing in the Trafford borough, which is true because I look for both private and social. Anytime I go to look on social, there's nothing, because recently they're all for people not in my age bracket, or they're more than one bedroom that I can't bid on. Or there's the fact that I need to have a guarantor, I don't have one. There's the fact that rent is so high. Like in some areas of Manchester, you could have a low one of like £695. You could have one that's like £1,200. You could live in the centre of Manchester and have like 2,500, £4,000. It's like, well, what do you want me to do if I'm doing the best that I can with all the things that I have surrounding me, but nothing's going in my favour to try and get anywhere?
It's just a vicious circle.
Yeah.
And they don't move fast enough either. So
Yeah.
you've got your PRS teams that are doing a really good job, and they might only have one person in that role. But they don't move fast enough, so people are just taking it, and they're going to pay in 6 months in advance because that's how they're taking it.
Yeah, and that's how the whole rent increase thing began, because people are coming in and they're going, oh look, an affordable property for me. I want it, so I'm going to slap loads of money on the table, and then people take it, and then landlords go, well, I can get more money for it. Like,
That's
if
nothing
people
new.
are just paying up front.
But that's nothing new. So my mum was a student landlord for a very long time. They had student accommodation in Manchester and Salford. And the parents would just come and whack cash, like,
It's just so...
just cash on the table, because keep them there for whenever.
Housing should not be a business, and I've always been so passionate about this. Like, everybody should be entitled to housing, regardless of who you are, where you come from, where you have come from. Like,
So make
How
it accessible for people to
everyone
rent
should be
privately.
yeah.
Why do you need a guarantor? It's not like
It becomes so inaccessible.
You know, all this. I can provide you all my bank statements, everything else. Why is that not enough?
Exactly. Like,
And it's not like you're
the
going to be
guarantee-
living there,
Yeah.
not paying. You have to pay every month.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to be living there and pay in advance. Or so why do they want that advance payment?
Yeah.
Sometimes
Doesn't make
6
sense.
months, 3 months.
Wasn't there a new rule or a new law instated where, like, recently, where they can't ask for a certain amount?
There's the Renters' Rights Act that's coming out.
Yes.
It's being it's written. It's just got to pass now, hasn't it? I think, has it passed? Well, that we should know about our housing practitioners.
Can I read your fact? Just because there's a lot of numbers, I feel like my brain couldn't process it. What you're saying, so I just.
I think, was it 149 increase?
146, I think.
Percentage of an
Yeah.
increase, which is huge.
Yeah.
Increase. Like, that's not even 20%. It's 50%. That's a lot. And I think what we're saying is that obviously now we understand that domestic abuse is the main contributing factor for homelessness within a range of people.
So
who's got our second fact to do?
Before that-
Oh, sorry.
no, it's okay. On Band 1 housing in Manchester alone, there's over 20,000 people on there.
That's increased from last
And
year.
there's only like, I think between 10 and 12,000 properties. So we're all fighting each other.
Oh yeah, but you can. Could you blame Margaret Thatcher for not? She sold off all the properties.
I would personally.
My personal
personally.
opinion is that the Conservative government at the time, they sold off all the industry, they sold off all the housing stock. They allowed people to buy their own homes, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't have been able to buy their own homes, especially families that were living there and and they've had that house for a long time. That's fine, but then they've not replaced the stock. They've never replaced the stock. So here we are now in 2026 with no housing, with zero, nothing.
It's
really
like
riles me
it's
up.
like the
No, it is. It's
flats
frustrating.
at the
though.
It is
end.
frustrating.
Yeah.
They're getting pulled down and being turned into a Lidl. Why not put more houses there?
I don't understand that.
Me
The
neither.
high-rise.
Yeah.
The roundabout.
Yeah.
The all-stock flats,
Yeah.
Do not understand that. I don't even think they found anything in them that was harmful.
There's an Aldi literally
Literally down the road.
corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever agreed that at the council, I don't agree
It
with
was,
you.
it was supposed to be a hotel.
Why?
I
You don't need one there.
Why? We
You
really
don't.
don't need one.
You need houses, affordable houses.
How many flats are in that? Are in
Oh,
those flats?
It's a big.
Yeah.
It's massive. There's
Yeah.
there's at least 30 floors.
Yeah. There must be over 100.
Yeah.
In Stretford Flats, there's 99 floors.
For a Lidl.
Mm-hmm.
This is the world we live in.
No, I'm actually like I did not know that. Like what?
Yeah. And there's people homeless, there's street
Yeah.
homeless.
But let's build another Lidl. There's one on Chester Road.
That
On the contrary, it's different in Salford. They are tearing down shops to build houses in
See?
Salford. Yeah.
What is going on? Oh, it's already.
But the thing is,
What
with
about
these new
Catholic
built
one?
houses, right, the prices are hiked up so high that it's sometimes unbelievable.
I actually just can't have it.
Yeah.
It's
Because how many people like if there's not just one person, there's at least 2-3 people living in all of those flats. That's like you.
I don't actually
Where
know
are
where
those
they put
people?
them.
Where are those
They're
people being
potentially
rehoused?
homeless.
Are they actually being
They're
rehoused?
potentially homeless. I don't
Like,
know.
what?
I
Potentially
think they would
homeless.
have had to rehouse them.
Of course, but
I
like,
don't think it was empty to begin with.
if there's no houses in Trafford, where are they rehousing them? You're uprooting people's whole lives just so you can build a freaking Lidl. Are you serious?
Oh, they
Like-
could have paid
I agree
them.
about it.
No, it's that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They
This
could
doesn't-
have
I
paid
do
them and
understand.
giving them the option of like finding somewhere and then pay them like
But
this
it's not that. It's
incentive
a
and
huge
saying,
plot of land.
I understand that edge of
And they could have Lidl in the corner of it.
yeah.
And there's still. They
Do you know what I
could have a
mean?
little housing estate.
or they could have
Build an-
Lidl on the
build
ground
an-
floor
build
and
an-
build more houses on top.
Build an
Yeah.
underground car park. Use the
Yeah.
car park for the Lidl. Or do you know what I mean? Like, I understand accessibility issues and people might not be able to get to the Aldi, or it's that part of Stretford is quite inaccessible. Like really,
Yeah,
isn't it?
there's a lot
Unless
of
you
traffic.
drive.
Yeah, there's a lot of traffic.
But
There is a bus stop, and the bus.
there is a bus stop right outside. There's also an Aldi, like 5 extra minutes walk. Do you know what I mean?
I think they're Aldi's.
The Aldi's on Kingsway. Round like across from the Stretford Library.
Oh yeah.
There's an Aldi right there. It's
Yeah,
literally
there is,
round
yeah,
the
I know.
corner. It doesn't make any sense. That does not make any sense. I'm pretty sure someone from Lidl's just gone like, oh yeah, Aldi's there. We need to put a Lidl there. It's like when people, like, you know
But
what?
just down the road, there's you can get into it.
We need
Yeah, and there's Sainsbury's,
And there's an Aldi
there's
there.
an Aldi there, and there's an Iceland.
Not a Lidl.
Yeah, not a Lidl. There is other shops available. I'm just going to put that out there just in case.
I prefer Tesco.
support who you want to support. The best way I do a card.
Right, home delivery. That's not bad.
I know.
Home delivery.
Sainsbury's.
Oh, I got mine the other day.
Ocado delivery.
Mine calls me whenever they're outside because I can't see
Well, yeah.
from my room.
Window, yeah.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, I'm just unloading the shop, and I'm like, oh,
I
thanks.
actually can't believe that. That's insane. Whoever authorised that, like, take it back.
Should we get angry about something else?
Yes.
Who's got the domestic abuse that Kirsty would like to go for?
Crime survey for England and Wales estimates for a year ending March 2025 showed that a higher proportion of people who had experienced homelessness in their lifetime experienced domestic abuse in the last year, 22.1% compared with those who had never been homeless, 7.2%.
Yeah, so basically it's really dangerous. The most dangerous time for anybody to be leaving a perpetrator is when they're leaving, because there's that power and control that has gone.
There was a recent story on Granada Reports about a woman who had been left paralysed.
Broken neck.
A broken neck and a spine, and there was a video interview of the police interviewing her in the hospital, and it was because she told him that she was leaving, and that's why he lashed out. And they were interviewing her, and she could only do like head nods, like yes or no, and like they were asking like really direct questions to find out. And
It was like yes or no questions because that was the only
yeah,
way
it's
she
the
could
only way
answer.
she could answer. Yeah, it's really scary, isn't it? Like, it's so scary to even like build up the courage to leave and
then
also
do it,
tell them and then have
And
that
then to be tired.
reaction.
But-
Yeah,
For her, she survived that. Can you imagine all the people that do not survive?
Survive, yeah.
And like Kirsty just said, there's such a high percentage of women and some men.
Yeah.
That we're not, you know, that are killed because of their perpetrator. And that's not even taking into account the number of people that take their own lives because of a perpetrator.
because they can't escape it. They don't know how to escape it.
Yeah. And it's really hard then. Can you imagine that? Say a woman, because we work with women, for a woman to leave her home, if she has children or she hasn't, she's got children, and to go somewhere and present as homeless, and then they're being questioned about their homelessness, why they're homeless, and then they've got to say, oh, actually, it's because of domestic abuse. A lot of people do not admit to that, and then they're just banded into something else. They're not given the time of day. Because domestic abuse is a priority. So if you're fleeing domestic abuse, you need to tell somebody you're fleeing domestic abuse and then you're putting priority.
Repeat that again for anyone who's listening who needs to
help.
hear that.
If you need help, go and tell them that what you are fleeing from, domestic abuse, priority.
Who's got the next facts?
1,010 victims of domestic abuse in Trafford will be from the global majority community. Global majority women are overrepresented in refuge services, with global majority women occupying 6 to 10 spaces despite occupying only 13% of the general population.
To say that they're all, most of the population,
Is the global majority.
and
Like,
they're using refuge spaces or safe accommodation spaces, that's frightening as well for them. So what are they fleeing from? What kind of abuse are they fleeing from? The possibilities are absolutely endless, aren't they?
I think sometimes within, you know,
Not so straightforward.
there's cultural and religious crossovers, isn't there? Is the global majority, and
What we're not saying is that doesn't not happen in white communities,
no,
but it is more prevalent in the global majority communities.
it's more dismissed, isn't
Yeah.
it?
I think it's because, like, you know, as immigrants, when you come to this country, things are quite different from how it's been from wherever you're coming from.
Yeah,
And that sudden change, you know, causes all this to break out and,
I mean, some are frightened about being reported to
yeah,
the
to home office.
And
yeah,
it's not
you
the
are
case.
literally
Yeah.
trapped.
You're
Yeah,
trapped.
you're trapped. You can't go. If you tell someone, then you're gonna get. You know, you could impact your own life and your own journey. It's
It's the
really
threat.
sad, yeah.
It's the threat that comes with it, you know, the home office threat. I'll take your children off you. You won't see your children anymore and things like that.
They read from the same playbook and we keep saying things
Yeah.
like, this is exactly the same thing when we hear it all of the time. Me and Francesca hear it all the time. And you're like, it just never gets old. It's the same thing all the time.
You have like as well certain cultures and will have that kind of like hardy attitude of, you know, of normalizing abuse and normalizing those kind of things, and then now we're in a society where those things are you know, people are learning more and people are becoming a lot softer, and like I've had friends who are like from Jamaican backgrounds who will be like, why is this just like I'm not that way, so why is it so normalized, and why am I being told that I need to be a certain way and tolerate this stuff when I shouldn't, and it's actually just normalised abuse.
We interviewed a lady a while ago, a long time ago now, for our accommodation, sister accommodation, and she was from global majority, but she'd been kicked out of their home and had slept rough, which again is a whole other cultural thing, because that's not what they see. They don't see it as like they don't want to be sleeping rough. It's a big shame thing as well. So for her to open up and tell us that was a big thing for her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We did house her, and she's fine. She's got on with it. But
You
it's
like
like
that.
a fact.
I have a fact.
You have a fact.
So, estimated in Trafford, there is around 1,200 victims of domestic abuse within the LGBTQ plus community. Victims from this are almost twice as likely to have attempted suicide and more than twice as likely to have self-harmed, more likely to be abused by multiple perpetrators. This is 15% compared to 9%.
How interesting is it that it's 15% compared to non-LGBTQ people? That's a high percentage.
Yeah, as a LGBT person, you have a lot of issues. Obviously, everyone's journey is different. Me, for example, I had a lot of mental health issues. It's more coming to terms with it and then having to tell people. But I also had a lot of other things going on at the time that were contributing to my mental health as well as that. So if you have that and then you have relationships or family members, friends, whatever the dynamic is, and then you have that on top of it, I understand why a lot of them would feel the need to turn to either harming themselves in any way, shape or form. And it's really sad to hear.
Do you think it's access to services too? And not
Potentially.
feeling, or not feeling that they can access services?
Potentially, because it could be a big barrier for each individual as to how, because it could be just saying it out loud.
Well, I had a conversation with somebody that was so sort of, oh, there's loads of services for trans people in Manchester. And I was like, actually, no, there isn't. There isn't. And there isn't anything really. There's the LGBTQ Foundation and George House Trust, but they don't have housing, the George House Trust. They're HIV and AIDS is there. And then the LGBTQ is very small and they don't have masses of houses. And because that percentage is so high, how can you just assume that there's like, oh, because we're a big city, that we've got loads of services for LGBTQ community members?
Do you think
No,
as
I
well?
think it's because they think Manchester is the biggest gay community.
Well, yeah, fair. But it doesn't mean that there's services and access to services for people, which is wrong. So don't make that assumption.
Do you think as well, like, that those numbers, that percentage is higher because of perpetrators who are curious, maybe, about, you know, that community and don't know how to explore it without being abusive? You do hear stories about that, and like,
There's always a dark side of reporting though as well, isn't there? So that there's people that it doesn't get reported on and that's fine. So fine. It's a difficult one.
You do hear stories about people who will actively pursue people who are part of the LGBTQ community to act out like that abuse, maybe because they hate that kind of.
You have a lot of
community.
internalized homophobia, and that's
What I mean. Yeah,
to
either curious
Yeah.
or into homophobia because
Yeah.
you've been raised to think that it's not okay to be the way that you are.
Do you think people just when they flee domestic violence and stuff on the LGBTQ community, they don't want to tell people that they are gay or other because they don't want to be, ostracized or say, actually, no, you can't enter our accommodation. Just for example, we are a women's organisation. We house women. Our sister company houses women. We have had this debate about trans women. So is there services for them? Is there services for other gay people and of the community? Because they might be so frightened to tell anybody about because they don't want to not have the housing. They don't.
And the fear of return, and it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's like intersectional layers of aggression, isn't it?
Well, it's huge. I think it's really much higher than people that aren't.
And then if you're coming from a different like racial background as well, like it's another level, isn't it? Like if you're a black gay woman and you're going to get help, you've got
to tell though that
Yeah.
person in behind that desk what is actually going on.
because you're walking into a space with fear that you might already be being judged.
Yes, we've had an issue similar to that before
Yeah.
when a woman said she didn't want to work with a support worker because she was gay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know,
Or she didn't want to come into a service
Yeah.
where we may house women who are gay, and she point blank refused to use our service. And I felt incredibly strongly about this, and I just said, well, you can't. I'm not even going to interview you because that's not fair. Because you have to give people a chance, don't you?
yeah, the level of her judgmental.
So someone who was coming to use your service.
Yes.
Somebody was going to help housing. She specifically asked not to be housed with LGBTQ women. And I don't know whether that when we asked her this, whether there was added trauma from her side and her point of view. You know, what was so against her being housed with gay women?
She had nothing.
Nothing, and it was a religious point of view, which again we questioned. So we took her. It's when we were in Bogshill, and there was the pride flags everywhere, all the way up the stairs, just everywhere, and she had no idea what that pride flag was because Francesca pointed it out. So I think it was own ignorance as well. This is the other side of it.
Ignorance.
I think people use religion quite often to kind of
To hide
behind that. Yeah, but it's not. Yeah.
And I did ask her just one question. If I were to be gay and you had to work with me one-on-one, would you still access our service? She had nothing to say. She was just looking at me.
It's so sad that people have those kind of attitudes and
was
aren't
really,
all
really
embracing of everyone. That's really sad because that poor woman herself is suffering and needs help from your service, but because of that like drilled in attitude and beliefs.
And we were concerned that something had happened.
Yeah, it's
Like,
wow.
you know, had somebody, you know, abused her
Yeah.
because she was coming from another refuge type of situation. That something happened, you know, because that happens as well. Like, you can't deny that doesn't happen. So that's scary. That was scary to have that.
It was just pure
It was
ignorance.
pure ignorance on her part when we got down to the bottom of it.
That's actually a really good point though, because like, what if she was abused by a gay person,
Well, this is
and that's the source of her trauma?
well, this is was her ex-partner gay.
That's really sad.
That kind of thing.
I hope she.
We tried to
that she
dig,
needed.
but
Yeah.
you know, she just, it was just pure ignorance on her own side. She had nothing really, you know.
I was quite angry. I'm quite angry with that. But that wasn't even from her. That was the person that was referring her had put that into their email.
Well, I guess if she said that, to
They've got-
the person,
they've got to
they've
be-
got to
yeah.
relay that information, haven't you? Well, I hope she's got the help that she needed because that's
Balls
quite
on
sad.
you. Yeah.
Wow. Any more facts?
I have some.
Oh.
So between 2021 and 2025-ish, 683 women that are from the UK have been murdered by their perpetrators.
Wow.
And we're assuming that they are from the perpetrators, aren't we? We're
They are all from
all from.
perpetrators. This doesn't include if they harmed themselves. This is from the 2021 femicide census.
How many? 600 and what?
683 women.
That's at least 2 women a day
Mm.
in a year.
8 women, so this is on top of, were murdered abroad by men, but they were from the UK. In 2021, it was 147 women, which is the highest it was in the past 5 years. And out of all of the cities in the UK, Manchester is in the top 5 highest for homicides, which really shocked me when I was reading it, that we were in the top 5.
That shocked me.
Because-
yeah, London, by the way, doesn't even come anywhere
No.
close.
And you'd think that, because London's the capital, London's huge,
Yeah.
but no, it wasn't.
And plus, we are very jolly people
Is
in
this just
Manchester.
in
We like to
the,
think
in
we
the
are.
field of domestic abuse category, or just in
Yes.
general?
No, just
Wow.
domestic abuse.
And this is from the Femicide
Yeah.
website. So you can look this up as well. It's there for everybody to see.
I would say take breathers throughout. It has a lot to read.
Yeah.
It's
Mm.
very sad at parts.
There's actually a website where you can put in your postcode and you can see
Yes.
there's domestic abuse that goes on within your postcode. And this is the only, this is what is reported. So
Mhm.
Yeah,
Because
so
actually it's
yeah,
probably a lot higher.
because I was gonna say all of these figures about domestic abuse. I'll put my hand up and say I've been in multiple abusive relationships, and not once have I ever been to the police about it.
I've never reported
Ever.
Like, because it's sort of, well, he said, she said. Did you report yours?
No.
No.
Never, like,
And
because
then also
One-
there's this thing with the global majority as well. Like, it's frowned upon. It's seen as a shame to your family. You're not doing the right things, you know.
There's lots of different facts in there too of like what was the most used weapon, what was the
Wow.
outcomes. Because the great thing about this was they tracked it in real time and kept on top of it to know what the outcome was,
Which is why it's taken so long
Yes.
to...
to write it and publish it, to know out of all of these people, how many people went to prison, what was the term of their sentence, what happened, did anything happen in between, what was the plea, did they change it? There's all these facts as well, so they're following the justice system of all of these women.
Crazy.
And it's not a nice thing because it's a sad thing, but in like the first 2 pages, they write the names of all the women who have sadly passed.
Yeah.
But they put them there as like, this is the reason why they've done it and why they've written it.
can I just add to that as well? And just add that those figures might be even higher because a lot of, like, I've had specifically a domestic abuse case which wasn't with a romantic partner, it was with a neighbour, and his sentence did not get classified as domestic abuse. It was classified as criminal damage, threats to kill, breaking and entering.
You didn't know that person.
I didn't know him at all. It was crazy. It was an absolute crazy experience. And the amount of hours that I tried to rationalise why it happened and why he targeted me, and still to have no conclusion, and then to be told that he only got 18 months in prison because of mental health issues, but then left me with mental health issues that I still struggle with to this day. And it did not get classified by as domestic abuse. I did not have any victim support. You were my victim support. Collaborative Women were my victim support. You were the housing people that I came to for help, and you were the people that helped me through that situation. Did not get any help off the police whatsoever.
Something that was interesting in that census was they were telling the data of people, that go into prison, what their pleas were.
Yeah.
And out of all of them, one pleaded that they didn't do it due to insanity, and it got okay, that we'll take that reason. I don't know the case to know it, but I found that interesting.
And were most of them not guilty, or did they keep not guilty or guilty?
So
Off the top of your head.
trying to remember.
Come on, fact. You should
There was
know.
a lot of people that changed their mind, or trying to try and get a lesser sentence by saying,
Rough sex.
yeah, that was
Sex,
it.
yeah.
That was a different one.
Yeah.
Or there was mental health reasons, substance abuse, or a mixture of the two, gambling, money, being
That
owed.
makes such a perfect sense, wasn't it?
That was a big thing. And something that was interesting on that was it gave you the job titles of the people that had done the crime, and 2 of them were police officers.
Of course. Sorry.
It's been 5 years since Sarah Abbott. So we will do I think we need to do
You
a podcast
you
on
always
just her
Yeah.
and the police. which we will do.
There will always be people, there will always be, you know, those people who put themselves in those spaces to prey on vulnerable people because that's where the most vulnerable people are.
It's a part,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah. And if you don't make it to the police force, you'll make it to security.
So we have asked our community again to hear their stories. So these are real stories and real voices. I know we've only got one or two because it was quite a delicate subject and we really appreciate that. Who has the first? Who would like to go first?
Hello.
Okay.
When I was pregnant, my partner didn't want me to keep the baby and tried to convince me to not keep it. He would intimidate me and yell at me in public areas. After deciding to keep the baby, he would then continue to intimidate me and ignore me, spread lies about me, flirt with other women in front of me, and have sex with multiple people, some of whom I was friends with. He was even caught reading an article on how to cause a miscarriage.
Disgusting.
When I was around 7 to 8 months pregnant, he screamed in my face in the middle of the street, resulting in people running over and pulling him away from me. This was the man who told me he wanted to have children with me and spend the rest of our lives together. The drastic and sudden change in his personality was incredibly hard to comprehend.
Sad.
They do say that some women who are pregnant, the domestic abuse ramps up due to the fact that the partners is getting attention.
Or exposes it when it wasn't there, yeah.
It's really interesting. It isn't, as much as it's sad, it's interesting.
I think a lot of men as well sometimes use children as weapons for their abuse, which is extremely disgusting.
Yeah.
They will use it as a way to trap women as well in a relationship. I know of a story where that happened with someone and she ended up pregnant within 2 months into their relationship, and he was not physically abusive but emotionally very manipulative and
Coercive almost.
yeah.
Have you ever seen the power and control wheel? So if you wanted to Google this, people, it's called the power and control wheel, and some part of it is the use of children.
Yeah.
So, like you say, they use children within their abuse as well. And it could be really small things like mum got a big head or a big bum or whatever else. But it's that slow breakdown of somebody's self-esteem. That slow breakdown of, you know, using them as physical, so they might go and kick mum.
Or try to brainwash the kid as well against their mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, mommy doesn't like you.
Mommy doesn't love
Mommy
you.
doesn't love you.
So
Who does everything for you?
Oh, God.
Mommy can't do this. Mommy can't do that.
And when you empower yourself in that situation, you're like, no, like, I am going to have that baby and I am going to do that like that. I'm not going to let you, like, take that away from me. Then that's when the child then gets weaponized afterwards. And it's like, okay, well, you were never interested in this child, and then all of a sudden they have this deep interest in the child, and it's like, where the heck has that come from? Because...
Or then the family court system, and they can put as many complaints in and as many custody things as they want to, because there's no limit, to just keep going with that control from that person. And then if you really flip it around, and if that person became homeless, so she's homeless with her child, how does she live? What does she do? Because there's only so many refuges that have children's spaces and family spaces.
And in this scenario, in this story, I can bet you 9 out of 10 times in the future he would want to come back and claim that child and tell that child stories like, your mom stopped me from seeing you.
Oh yeah.
I tried.
Spot on.
You know.
Spot on.
Yeah.
It's like, it's literally like there's a flipping book in it, and they just go, step 1, step 2, what do I do next?
Can I borrow that book?
Yeah,
There you
like,
go.
The abuser's handbook.
The abuser's handbook, yeah.
Yeah.
Please don't go write that. Please don't do that.
I think it'd be good, like, guys to ask these organisations, so it'd be quite a good one to have on your shelf.
It would, Maybe have it, but only a limited number of copies.
In like a flim sense in terms of this written by these organisations. Okay, Onion, who's got all of the story?
I do. I was 15 when I experienced my first abusive relationship. It was with my first boyfriend, who I also lost my virginity to, so it really set the standard for my relationships to come. I didn't really realise at the time how traumatic and how out of the ordinary his behaviour was, until maybe about 10 years later. I was quite confident in school and had lots of friends, and it started with him completely isolating me, telling me I couldn't be with any of my male friends anymore, which then led to isolating me from all of my friends. He then got really controlling over the way I dress. I was raped multiple times, and any time I didn't follow what he said, he would cut his wrists and force me to watch while I cried, and while he told me that this was all your fault.
Oh, it's just standing the through that.
Coercive control.
Just, yeah.
I was trapped for over a year, and at the time was doing my GCSEs, really struggled to focus on both my education and my well-being. When I got A's and B's, yay for me for getting good grades while experiencing abuse, fully agree. Yeah.
Well done, girl.
Yeah. I then started processing everything that happened, and it set the bar for the way I allow men to treat me for a long period of time. I was extremely against serious relationships and became really hypersexual, and the abuse leached out of me onto others. I was so young, I just didn't know how to handle it at all, and school didn't really help. It felt really controversial for me to be speaking out, and that was only in 2009. I just got goosebumps.
I know, right? So sad.
Yeah. I mean, congrats on doing the education at the same time,
Yeah.
because that
That it's a difficult
That's a lot.
thing.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's number one. And
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So
why would you
manipulative.
do someone
Experience.
So
Absolutely.
manipulative. It's that kind of, it's that kind of thing of like, okay, well, if I act out of line, he's going to do that again. And then it's like, and it is going to be my fault. And you don't realise when you're involved
Then
in
you
that.
start calling their bluff.
Yeah.
You start, I don't know how long. Some people never get to that point. Some women do.
Mm.
I know I did. I got to that point. And you're like, I call your bluff here. I'm thinking, oh, I'm not going to do this. And
Yeah.
goes
It's
and
like
tries
being
it, goes
pushed.
and-
It's like being pushed to the wall, and when you find yourself between the wall and a hard place, you turn back and rebel.
It's called reactive abuse.
Yeah.
It's called reactive abuse, and when you experience so much abuse yourself, you then become explosive back and react to that.
But then this is a knock-on effect for
yeah.
homelessness, because then you are seen as not engaging, you're seen as aggressive, X, Y, and Z, without anybody fully understanding the ripple effect. But it's sad.
Yeah, sad. It is sad.
Thank you to everybody for sharing the stories. I mean, we all have experiences of some domestic abuse, whichever way you want to look at that. All here to share our stories, so it's really, really happy that people have shared the stories. It's really, thank you very much.
It's a strong thing to do.
Yeah, it's absolutely
yeah.
very brave. Yeah.
I think
And
there's
also, abuse comes in different forms.
yeah,
Absolutely. It's not all hitting, slapping, whatever you see on the telly. It's that slow burn of coercive control. It's that manipulation, that financial abuse.
financial abuse is such a massive one. Like,
Again, you could link that with homelessness, because you lose your rent, you don't pay your rent.
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I've had experiences of people not, personally as well, not being able to pay your rent, therefore being kicked out, being then homeless, and then having to move back in with parents. Luckily, that was your option. Some people don't have that option.
Yeah.
Some people don't even realise it's happening when it's happening either. Like,
I mean,
especially
taking your whole wage and
Es-
like full.
yeah, especially when you're like at the start of a relationship as well. Men will sometimes like get you hooked on like having, oh, have this gift, have that gift, and have this, and da da da.
Yeah.
And then we'll give, like, literally just shove it in your face, like, when sometimes you don't even really want it. And then it's like, okay, well, and then you become financially dependent on that person. Then by that time, that person's already locked in, and you're like, how do I get out of this? I can't get out of it. Or sometimes it'll be in secret. Like, I know of someone who it was in a abusive relationship, and their ex-partner had secretly taken out credit in her name, credit cards, and she ended up in thousands and thousands of pounds worth of debt. And God bless her, she's worked so hard to pay off that debt. Still to this day is literally paying off debt in her name from her abusive
With
ex-partner.
nothing to show for her.
It's just insane.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane.
She hasn't got that piece of furniture. She won't have that.
No,
Whenever
it's so sad. I think he actually took out credit cards to cheat on her, to take other women on holiday.
Wow, that is
So
mean.
like lowest of the low.
Yeah.
Really, really manipulative without you even noticing what's going on. And again, because of the stigma of calling out your abuser and calling out people who are rapists and abusers, you know, a lot of people, we're in 2026, but there's a lot of people who, when you start talking about abuse, they're like, yeah, you know, like, it's still like a really touchy subject, and we need to get out in the
Why we
open
have to educate them.
and
Why
talk
we
about
talk
these experiences. I'm pretty sure, I can't remember.
Because this is our bread and butter. This is what we do, unfortunately.
What did I see recently? Or someone told me something recently, and it was they were listening to something, and someone had made a complaint. Oh, you're talking about domestic abuse, but you're talking about it way too in depth. Like, it's way too, you know, this is too much. Like,
Because it's
you just being you don't need to go that much into depth.
No,
Yes, you do.
It is
If
an
we don't-
in-depth topic.
If we don't speak about it and we don't speak graphically about it, how will other people might not even
People
realize?
still
that
don't
what they're going
understand
through.
what abuse is.
Yeah.
And when people then sit on our programme, because we have a quite an intensive domestic abuse programme, as some of you will know, you know, they sit there and they go, oh my God, I didn't realise that at all.
Mm-hmm.
And you have that a lot.
A lot, yeah.
And it's like, oh, wow. And when you write these sorts of programmes and you're trained in it and actually have some experience yourself, it's just like, yeah, well, that's mad, that, yeah.
I've had women when I'm doing the Moving Forward program on domestic abuse, and every single time I speak about a certain thing, a certain topic, they'll be, that was me. I didn't even know I was going through this.
And we talk about the law and things like that as well
Yeah.
now, because we don't. So, and they go, oh God, wow, I didn't even realise this. And you think, oh, that's,
Yeah.
you think, yeah. That genuinely, because a lot of women don't think, because it's so normalised, like that last person, it's so normalised.
Mhm.
And as a young person, and this is why we need to go into schools, we need to teach young people, because they're going in and they're 14, maybe even less, 30. It starts in higher schools.
It does, yeah.
That kind of male culture. That's women as well, some women, but start young, because why at that age should they be in an abusive relationship?
And it's like that child on child abuse and domestic abuse, isn't it?
But where
And
has
it's-
he learned that from as
Exactly.
well? This is the other side.
And does he think that that's okay to behave like that? And that's what a normalized relationship is like. He might have felt, you know, I've observed that from my parents, and that's normal, and that's how you should be in a relationship. Like, maybe he didn't even realize that that's what he was doing while he was doing it, because at the end of the day, 15-year-olds, you babies still, you don't know what's going on. Like, you don't know.
Frontal lobe, hasn't it?
And that
No,
brings
not
me-
at all.
And that brings me back to that topic of we are always busy raising the girl child on how to be good, how to do this, how to do that, how to please a man.
How to protect yourself from men.
Yeah, and it should be both. It should be
Who
going to
looks
both.
after these boys?
Yeah.
Who tells them what they need to know?
We went into a school once to teach healthy relationships, but they didn't. They separated them. They didn't allow boys into the classroom, and they were there, stood at the door, interested in what we had to say,
wanted to come in to listen to us, but because it was, the school policy, we couldn't let them come in.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous because it takes two to tango. Let's be real.
Absolutely.
Like, you can't be in a relationship. You can't be a woman in a relationship on your own. Boys and men are in that too.
I mean,
It's important for everyone to
We're
know.
really, really pleased that the Borg strategy has come out and there's some money there for some education programmes for boys and for girls, and it's for both of them together. And maybe that might have a ripple effect. It's not a lot of money, but it's a start.
We could think by having them together, it could potentially open a bigger dialogue between the two, rather than split one off and split the other.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think, oh, well, if we're both together, we're doing this, maybe we could have a chat about how it looks for you, and what do you think about this and what do you think about that, rather than let's separate you and hit you with facts and not bore you, but
And it is boring.
Yeah.
It is boring.
It is, yeah. And I think a lot of the time, school policy.
Teenage girls, would you have sat there as a teenage girl and gone, yeah, well, I'm not really experiencing this, so I don't care, I don't give a shit? Because that is what they're like.
I think a lot of the time though, like, school is so focused, and the school system and the education system is so focused on behaviour management before actually educating and teaching the children. They will say prioritise behaviour management more than educating the children together, because that to me, when you're saying that, oh, they separate them, I'm thinking that's because they're gonna have male and female teenagers together, and that's just a whole catalyst for
It was a
chaos,
It was a big
for hormones and stuff like that, and behaviour. And they probably have thought, we need to manage this behaviour, or like, and not have them, well, we can't have boys and girls in a room talking about relationships and sex together, because then they're going to start doing it, and it's like, they're 15, they're already going to be doing that. Let's be real.
Probably.
Let's be real.
When I was in primary school, we had a nurse come in, obviously, tell you about like sex education and what happens when your body starts changing. And I remember being in the classroom, and only the girls could be in for the girls' part, but we had to sit there and watch the boy part of how their body changes, but the boys didn't have to watch how our body changes.
This
Which
is the
doesn't make
reason-
sense because they should know.
Exactly. This is the
know.
reason why men are so insensitive to how the female body works. They are so very, very sensitive to, right, your wife is on her period. What do I do at this point in time to support her? Nothing. Because they don't know nothing
Don't
about
actually
it.
know, yeah. But there would be so many things that would be different if men and boys learned about it at a younger age. It would have eradicated so many issues that we have now, like patriarchal society and like that attitude.
If this episode brought up anything for you, please remember you're not alone and support is available.
Yeah, we'll leave links to helpful organisations in the description, and please, even if you are curious about, am I experiencing abuse, just reach out and ask.
Thank you for listening to Club Rhubarb After Hours.
And we'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone. Next week's episode, just an FYI, is about male ownership. So please tune in for that. Thank you.
Bye.